much as I can. I mentioned yesterday that there are two modern examples. There's a lot of echo.
Yeah.
Why is there so much echo?
Can you lower that a little bit?
Okay.
This one is way too high.
This one?
Yeah. Can you put it up? Yeah. Can you put it here? Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And this one you want to bring it in. It's outside.
I increased the volume because somebody couldn't hear it. So
No, it's because this one. Yeah, just
So
put it
maybe I
Down,
should.
down,
Yeah.
down.
Yeah, just on the inside. Yeah. Okay. We'll
This
try.
time-
Okay, let's try that. Yeah, this is better, I think. Or still echo some?
There is some static.
I think this slightly.
So there are, as I mentioned yesterday, that there are two modern examples that are very useful to think about. One we talked about, which is electricity and appliances. Chaitana and Jada. Those two we went through yesterday. There is another one which is, for me, became a very useful example to reflect upon, which is the example of a movie experience. And in Swami Akhandananda ji's writing, I'm very happy that he was there for the time when I think he passed away in 1987 or something like that. So movies were there. He also saw movies and he was familiar with the whole thing. And he really translated that into an example for us to really emulate. Excuse me. So here's what happens. In a movie projection, which is a real drama, kind of like a reality show. Reality show means that it's not just saying, there's nothing here, especially if you go to the modern movies with surround sound and all these huge screens. You're engulfed by the experience. It looks really real to you. Okay, so let's analyze that situation. In that situation, you see a lot of action, a lot of things going on, a lot of emotions, thoughts, to the point where you can be affected. You can start crying, or you can laugh. And so it's not trivial, it's something very real. So this is what happens. Now let us analyze how this whole movie is created. So there are three elements to the movie that are at the crux of the movie experience. Number one is a fixed screen. You cannot project a movie into the sky. You need to have something which is very solid, unchanging, fixed at one point. And also, it should be white. It should not have any color in it, because otherwise it will color everything that is projected on it. So it should be colorless. So this is the screen. Okay, number one. The second thing is you need a steady light. Powerful, unchanging, because you can imagine what happens if the light is flickering. Then the whole thing is flickers, which is an interesting experience. You can see that from time to time. But if the light is fixed, then you don't notice the light. It's an important thing to see. You don't notice the light. It is just there projecting as part of the movie. Number 2. Number 3, you need a film, and in the modern thing, I don't know how they do that in the digital era, but let's look at the old one, which is a moving screen. A moving film that creates a narrative. And it's also accompanied by sound on top of that. And so there is actually a storyline which is embedded in the film. And the film has to be carefully done by people. Everything has to be carefully done. You need to have screen and all that, but more than anything else, there needs to be a storyteller, a producer, a director, people. All of that has to be embedded into it. Okay? And if you do all of that, you now have an experience. Now, this is what is happening. So listen to this carefully. There is a movie that you are producing. You are producing the movie, and you are producing all the ingredients for the movie. So this is not something, I'm talking about the life. This is not something you can ascribe to anyone else. This is advanced Vedanta. And I'm going to give you some things that you may have a hard time accepting. But be that as it may, I have to tell you what the facts are. You are producing the whole thing. And as I've told you, this is something very, very amazing about the Shastra, Advaita Vedanta, Sanatana Dharma. It is something amazing. It never tells you something unless it has the proof for it. This is what distinguishes, you cannot imagine how lucky we are, honestly. Because once you understand this, the Advaita Vedanta and the Sampradaya, how lucky we are of getting to the authenticity of the whole creation. Not easily available. I'll tell you what happens. So, there's a lot of people that try. But Advaita Vedanta is only a very small portion of the whole world. Everybody else has different theories. Oh, it should be like this. And then new religions come up. And they all have their ideas. So this is what it is. There's a God. There is a Swarga. There's heaven. There is hell. And then you do karmas and you go from here. All kinds of things are available. In the midst of all that is Advaita Vedanta that needs to be understood. And what is understanding is mind-blowing. But what I was going to say was this. Isvara, who is the creator of Vedanta, who is the writer of Vedanta, is not man-made. It is done by Isvara himself. Cannot tell you something until he gives you the proof for it. There's a lot of discussion about this. So in terms of Sankhya, Yoga, Purva Mimamsa, Vaisheshika, Buddhism, Jainism, Islam, Christianity, all of those kinds of things, they postulate something which looks plausible but has no proof in it. This is the most interesting thing. They postulate total freedom, and the only thing you can see is some hearsay. There's no proof. What is amazing about Sanatana Dharma, you can call it anything you want to, but about Advaita Vedanta, is that it gives you the proof. You can postulate it, but until you give the proof, you cannot do that. The movie experience I'm talking about, which I'm going to now give you some ideas about what the movie looks like and how you are the producer. There's a proof for it. You can say, show it to me. The dream. Every day you do the same thing. This is where Isvara must be saying, does she get it yet? He's waiting. Hints are being given. And this is a remarkable thing, that the reason the 24 hours are given is that strong hints are given to you. This is what is called Shivalinga. The word linga means a hint. Lingyate anena iti linga. Lingyate means jnayate, by which something is known is called linga. You know, we have taken that example that there was a guy in the village, which I've talked about on my Saturday class. I think Swami Maheshananji had given this example. There was a guy in the village who had only one property, which was his cow. There's nothing else. And a cow is a very important thing. You can give a lot. She gives a lot of milk, this, that, or the other, cow dung. So that was he woke up this morning and the cow is gone, stolen. So he was just frustrated. So he went to some kind of a local policeman in the village. He said, "Sir, my cow is stolen." So he says, "Okay, let's look at it." So he says, "Well, you're very lucky because these are rainy days and now we have an easy way to find the cow." So he says, "How? How are we going to find the cow?" He says, "Trust me. Come with me." Where was the cow? "Let me show the hoof marks. Let us follow the hoof marks." Sure enough, in the muddy road, the hoof marks were going here, left turn over there, and so on. He reached the point and he says, "Is this your cow?" He says, "Yes." So the hoof marks were called lingam. So similarly, the dream is a lingam. It's not something Isvara. You imagine this. If you're a designer of this is a whole movie screen. That's all the Ishvara can do is to design the kind of like a blueprint. Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. He designed the blueprint, how to do this. Then you do it. If you have to design the blueprint, why would you have a dream in the day? Every 24 hours you need to have a dream. Why would you do that? You don't need to do that. In fact, it was interesting. We had a friend who passed away a couple of years ago, Jaggi Tandon, and Jaggi was one of the very first Indians in this country to become extremely rich. And Pami and I were very good friends with them, and I remember him telling me this. I mean, he made so much money. This was like about, 30, 40 years ago. Nowadays, you've got billionaires all over the place, and it's so. But at that time, he made multi-millions, something none of us could imagine. We were all, He used to tell me this. He says, Vijay, you know what? I hate to go to sleep. I said, why? He says, life is so much fun. I don't understand why I'm limited to only 16 hours. He says, I don't understand it. Really, I want to be, the moment I sleep, I want to get up immediately so I can enjoy this right away. I remember this talk very well. I had already started to learn Vedanta. Not as advanced as I am now, but in the beginning stages. Even then I said, he's missing something. Anyway, that's a separate thing. Why would Isvara devote 1/3 of your time during the day on what you consider to be non-productive? Other than the fact that you get some rest. Yeah, sure. Here's the reason. It's a very strong hint. Very strong. So there is a proof of how you make your life into a movie. There's a proof for it. Because otherwise, whatever I tell you, you'll say, oh, that sounds interesting, but it's not like that. Isvara will not tell you something unless there is a proof for it. And it is there every day. How long we lived? 70, 80 years ago. Or 80 years. How many days it is? Every day you have the same hint. But we don't take it. Oh, this is nothing. It's just a dream. This is the reality. Isvara says, okay, be my guest. You'll be born one more time too. I'll give you another chance. This is a movie. And we produce the whole thing. How? Nothing is imported. You produce the screen, you produce the light, and you produce the narrative, the script. Believe it or not, you personally what really happens is, it's very obvious that you produce your own dream. No one else does it. Right? Not like your spouse is helping you, okay, let's dream together. The spouse has his own dream, you have your own dream. Everybody has their own personal. We do the whole thing completely on our own. What we don't understand is, I am creating the whole thing personally. No one else is involved. The only thing is, Isvara has given you the blueprint. And just watch us to see what you do. And we have been producing the movie, are you ready for this? Forever. And we produce a version of that movie in every life. If every manifestation, we say produce the whole thing. So, two of the ingredients are directly visible, the screen and the light. The third ingredient, it is so obvious that once you really grasp it, you will say, yes, that is also me. Just like the dream. So let's talk about the first two ingredients, which is the screen and the light. This is what it is saying. Vishwam darpana dushyamana nagari nijantargatam. You are the screen. In which all changes are taking place. See this. You know, this is where I'll go to a later part of the thing I was going to talk about, but I won't have time. Yeah. So, you know, Vedanta says basically, and this is what we have to understand is, this is the difference between aparoksha and paroksha jnanam, indirect and direct. What you think is really done in terms of Isvara is actually you doing it. I'll give you an example. In the Brahma Sutra, the second verse of Brahma Sutra is, who is Brahma? Athato Brahma Jigyasa is the first one. Then the second one is defining who Brahman is. Isvara. Brahman and Isvara are one and the same. Isvara is the bhava of creation, but the very content of the creation is Brahman. So, the definition of Brahman is Janmadi Asya Yataha. This is Sutra number 2. Janmadi Asya Yataha. What does it mean? It says Brahman is a unique entity. It's a lakshana. Lakshana of, because everything has some unique, and you see, you and I both have a unique lakshana. You have a particular form, a body, your ethnicity, I do too. All of us have a unique lakshana. What is the lakshana of Brahman? Where is Brahman? The lakshana given is Janmadi Asya Yataha. Means this is the entity, this is the person, if you want to call it, Vastu, Brahman, in which everything is born into, stays in it, and dissolves into it. Janmadi means Mrityuadi, everything. This is called Adi. Janma means Birth, etc. means birth, death, everything. Everything that is happening comes out of Brahman and dissolves in Brahman. So you say that's very interesting. Why it must be what a person that must be. The whole thing is coming. The whole thing, not just the earth, but everything, the cosmos, comes out of which, dissolves in it, and so on. And then you say, okay, that is a wow. I don't know how I'm related to that, and so on. Then it says, by the way, that Brahman. Remember, I was saying yesterday, this is a very important thing to see, really, that you can know the name. Clock was the name. You can know the object separately, but you don't make the connection. This is a very important thing to see. So, a child, this is why I think observing how kids grow up is very instructional, because how they learn. So there the example is that supposing the parents are talking about clocks, 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 and he's heard about clocks, clocks, clocks. This happened to us just a couple of years ago, mind-blowing, something very interesting. So my wife and I were babysitting our kids, the grandkids, 2 and 4. And the 4-year-old knows a lot about phones and so on. So she was looking at my wife's phone and she says, Dadima, you don't have a cover on it. And your mom, my wife said, yes, you're right, I don't have a cover. So she said, my mom has a cover. How come you don't have a cover? So she says, I actually been telling her you should get a cover. I just got a cover recently. So I said, you should also get a cover. And she says, no, I'm okay. So Arjun, who's 2-year-old, is listening to all of this. Cover, 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 what is cover, and so on. You know what this kid does? This is just mind-blowing. He goes to Pammi and says, Dadima, you can buy the cover from Amazon. Really, I'm not exaggerating. Ask her. I heard him. Okay? So the reason I'm pointing this out, this is an important reason I'm pointing this out. He has heard the word Amazon. What does he know about Amazon? He's heard the word Amazon. And he also knows that his mom and dad get a lot of packages. And they must say, here's the Amazon package. Amazon, Amazon. He has no idea. There is a word that he's done. So exactly like this, there is a clock, clock, clock. And then there's a word clock, and there is an object clock, but he doesn't know this is that word. You know what the situation is? Do you really want to know the truth? We say Brahman, Brahman, in which all these things come about and dissolve. He is the Sarvavyap, Sarvagya, Sarvashaktiman, Isvara. And you imagine, I wonder where he is. Oh my gosh, what a person. This is like saying Amazon, Amazon, Amazon. Some Amazon, Amazon. He knows the word. You know the word Brahman, Brahman, Brahman. There is a object called Brahman, and you are not connecting. You know what that object is? You. You are Brahman. What? Yes. Don't take my word for it. Take the word of Taittiriya Upanishad, all the Upanishads. Bhrigurvai Varunihi Varunam Pitaramupapasara Adhihi Bhagavo Brahmeti Tasmat Etat Provacha Annam Pranam Chakshuh Shrotramato Vachamiti Ho Vacha Yato Va Imani Bhutani Jayante Yena Jatani Jivanti Yat Prayantyabhivishanti Ti Tat Vijigyasasva Tat Brahma Satapo Satapastya Tapastaptva. You are that Brahman. Tattvamasi. See this. You want to just close your eyes. The whole world comes out of you. The whole world, the entire Jagat, not just your thoughts, your body, just your friends, neighbors, the whole Jagat, whatever you want to imagine, where does it come from? It comes out of your own thoughts, stays in your own thoughts, and dissolves in it. Open your eyes. This is the movie. We are experiencing the movie where? In what screen? I am the screen. So that's very interesting. In the case of our movie show that we go to, you know, it's interesting. There's only one movie that I have seen in the last 5 years, which I did in Fremont 2 weeks ago.
No.
Huh? This is the life of Aditya, Yogi Adityanath. Have you heard of that? There's a movie called Ajay. You've got to see that. This is just a phenomenon. What a person. What a person who, how did he become a yogi and a very important person? How? Did he see that? So there was this movie that was playing only for 4 shows in Fremont. So I dragged my wife. She also wants me to drag to her, but I never go to her place. But this is the beauty about these Indian women. They're very nice. So she came up. What a movie. Beautiful movie. And so I don't see movies very well, but in this movie, it was really interesting to be engulfed in it, this whole thing. Very remarkable thing. If it's gone now, I think you'll have to get it on Netflix or something. But a very important movie in my perspective, in my thinking. Anyway, in a movie, there are 2 things. One is a screen and one is a light, and they are separated from each other. So this is what is called Vyavaharika Sat. In Vyavaharika Sat, you can have separation like this. But in Paramarthika Sat, there is no separation. There's only one thing, which is the truth. So that truth, listen to this carefully, is both the screen as well as the light. I am the screen. You can see this, the whole world. When you wake up, the whole world appears to you. And then when you sleep or when you dream, either one, it dissolves in it. This is not, so the Brahman is not, it is just like the kid who just has a word called Amazon. I just have a word called Brahman. I don't realize this is me. Oh my God. Excuse me. I am the screen. I am the light. So let's talk a little bit about those two things before we go to the third one, which is the script. So let's just spend a few minutes on these two important things. One is a screen and the other one is a light. Okay? All these are interconnected. That is the diamond. The Sakshi that we talk about is both the screen and the light. How? I am the Sat Swarupa. Just look at this, wrap your minds around this fact. What is really Sat? Satyam, Sat, reality, truth. What is it? One thing we can start with is that something that does not change must be Sat. Because as we saw yesterday, that if this is a carpet, it certainly becomes liquid. That's not the truth of it. There is some funny stuff going on. So the definition of Sat is that it does not change. Now, where can I find it? You cannot find it any other place other than yourself. You know why? Because the very search violates the definition of Sat. If you say Sat is not here, but someplace else that I'm looking for, it violates Sat. Because it should be here, isn't it? And Sat should not be dependent on anything. Because if it is dependent, then it may become a Sat. What is it that is not dependent? What can be something which is not dependent? One which is intrinsically Sat, Sat Swarupa. How can that be? Where can that be? It can be only if it doesn't need to be proven. It already is without any proof, any justification. Where will I find something like that? How about yourself? Myself? Yes. How? That you are, not what you are, but that you are. Do you need any proof for that? Tell me, what proof do you need that you are? Everything is there because you are. You can have a proof of how old you are, how you feel, what your thoughts are, how knowledgeable you are, how good you are as a person. All of those things need some justification. But that you are. You cannot go to a doctor and say, can you tell me if I am? You can't do that. You get something interesting, very profound. You are the only entity, vastu is the word in Sanskritam, is like that. You are the only vastu that can be like that. There is no possibility, even Isvara, because Isvara, our understanding of Isvara, would be flawed if it is not right here, because it is not Sat. That means that I have to think about it. What kind of a Sat is that? The real Sat is you. And the only problem is you don't accept it. What am I supposed to do? You'll say, no, me? Are you talking about me? Yes, I'm talking about you. Swami Kandananda has this story, very interesting story. So there was a Mahatma sitting there having a satsang. And a lot of people were just all discussing about, just like we're doing, Atma and this, that, the other. So this old lady comes up and says, you! I've been searching for you. I hate you. You're the worst thing on this earth. So everybody says, what is she talking about? You took my son away. He was a nice son to me. And now he's following you. And he is good for nothing for me. And you guys are just, you don't do any work. Everybody gives you food and so on and so forth. You are a scum and this, that, or the other. So people told this Mahatma, said, sir, she's abusing you. This is not right. So the Mahatma said, yeah, I can see the abuse, but she's not abusing me. So this woman said, no, sir, I'm abusing you. Don't think that I'm abusing anybody. You are the one I'm abusing. The person said, no, you're not abusing me. You don't even know who I am. You're abusing somebody that you think I am, but that's not me. I'm not abused. So, okay, I understand what you're saying. Fine, go ahead. But I'm not affected. So when I say you will say, me? Think about it. The only problem in this whole teaching of Vedanta, etc., is this is not acceptable to me. that I'm a human being, this I can see. Just tell me what kind of a human being I am. Am I a good one? How long am I going to live? What's my kundalini say? This one I can relate to. But this thing about that I am Brahman itself, the only Sat Swarupam? No. Don't insult Brahman and Isvara. I mean, the Anand used to say that. People will, Ishvara must be feeling so lonely. Nobody accepts him. Nobody recognizes him. He says, my God, this is the whole creation I did. And people will say, we're in Milpitas today. Have you seen Ishvara lately? So people say, no, not here. He must be around somewhere. In India, he must be in Vrindavan. So you go to Vrindavan and say, have you seen Ishvara? And say, not here. He must be in Ayodhya. So Ishvara must be saying, nobody recognizes me. I am deep in the heart of the people. What am I supposed to do? So this is the issue. You are the screen, you are the light. Forget about the light for a minute. I'm just at the Sat Swarupam. The screen must be the Sat. You are the Sat. See it. You are the only Sat Swarupam. So this has a very interesting corollary. Remember, we were talking about how to find Ishvara cannot be in idam, it has to be in aham. Remember what we were talking about? Narrow your search and so on. Now, the Shivalingam has reached the cow. We have now the hints are given, and now we can see it. There can be only one Sat, and the one which is self-existing, Swayam Siddhaha, Swayambhuhu, Swatasiddhaha. This is what distinguishes looking for a diamond from a paperweight. I am Satsvarupaha Swatasiddhaha Swayambhu. And there can only be one Sat, because if it is not here, not now, it cannot be Sat. There can be only one Sat. And then where is Ishvara? You've taken over the whole Sat. Ishvara is also Sat Swarupa. Shiva. How can that be any different from you? Why are you not seeing this? You are the screen of the whole movie. Okay, fine, I'm the screen of the whole movie. What about the light? That must be somebody else. This is a very funny situation. You are both the screen and the light. I am the light? How? You are Chit Swarupaha also. I am aware. I know. You are not borrowing this light from anyone. It's not like this Laukika light that depends upon different things, light, electricity, all kinds of grid. No. You are the light that does not think. See this. It's not poppycock. This is, see this yourself. I know. This is not your quality. This is your swarupa. And what is the size of my light? Anantam. Satyam jnanam anantam. Satchit anandaha. You're not, your screen and your light is ananta. Svatasiddha, swayambhu. And also, Swayam Prakasha. This Prakasha is not dependent on anything. This is the fact, guys. You are both the creator, the sustainer of this movie. And you don't realize it. I'm running out of time, so I'll have to go to the third factor and then move on to a couple of other things. Now let's talk about the script. This is very important too. Everything is important, of course. How did the script come about? Again, we have to go back to the example of the dream. Where did the dream script come from? From you. From your vasanas. From your memories. From your previous experiences. Very interesting. What the Shastra says is that during the Jagrat Avastha, your experiences are only limited to when you were born, with the people that you were associated with, your mother, father, friends, and so on. It's all of this life. This is right. And then also, going to a different country, what is not known to you, what will become known to you. All that is this life. But in the dream, you have images from the previous life that can also be manifest in your dream. If you look at some dreams that are very strange things, they can be from, this is what Shastra says. Anyway, that is not that important. The important thing is that in the dream, you are the script writer. Okay, all right. I told you this is going to be advanced Vedanta. Are you ready for this? Do you know who made the script for your life? And how that script was made? Who is responsible for the script? Script means what? Script means every detail in the movie. Every detail. Every detail. Mother, father, siblings, spouses, friends, country, the sun, the moon, the stars, the galaxies, everything. Do you know who made it? You mind-blowing fact. You selected your mother and father. Your mother and father did not select you. How long has this been going on? Forever. And every life, you build this movie script. And the interesting thing is, again, a proof. Look at you cannot say anything without proof. If this was not true, it would not be easily dismissible. But it is easily dismissible every day in the dream. The whole thing is dismissed. You create a brand new script. This is very funny, interesting. Do you know in the dream, in the middle of the night, when it is dark, you create your own sun. You create summer. You'll say, oh my gosh, it is so hot. I don't know, I want to go to a cooler place. This is all happening in the dream. Heat, light. So there's proof. It's not as though this is some fairy tales. This is what is happening. And it will continue to happen. So what you will do is, here's what happens. You know, we talk about karma and karma phala and punya karma and papa karma and where do we go and this, that, or the other. What will happen is that from your experiences of your life, you will modify the script for the next life. Same. And do you have the capability, by the way? Of course. The dream shows this. You have the capability. The only thing you're saying is, no, I cannot do this whole thing. You are generating everything. And how is it that I have that capability? That is all in the Atma. Atma has this sense of this power. And it can display it if it wants to. And you create this and you become one of the entities in it. And so I'll close on this analogy of the movie screen, okay, with this, and come to how did I come about and become a single participant in the whole movie. Because that's what's happening. See what's happening here? You create a whole drama and you become one of the participants in the drama. Exactly like what happens in the dream again. In the dream, everybody else that you're creating is also you, but you have a special place where you actually are thinking of saying, I don't like these people. What are they doing to me? What's happening to me? And so everybody has peculiar dreams, but in the dream you are one of the persons. This is what is pointed out, and I promised Kalpana yesterday that I will come to this. She had this question, that this abhasa, chidabhasa, and the jiva, how are they related? So again, I don't think I have enough time to to go through this, but I'll give you a little sense of it, and that perhaps that may be the only thing that we will be able to do. Okay. So this discussion that I'm going to now do has to do with, all it has to do with is to convince you, really speaking. Everything is to convince you with a proof. And so the dream becomes a beautiful proof. But at least you should see what the phenomena is. It's very similar. Similar to our Jagrat Avastha, similar to the dream Avastha, Swapna Avastha. But what is the phenomena? This phenomena of how you create is explained extremely well in the verses starting with number 6, 7, and 8 of Drigdrishya Viveka that you can read later on. So it says, Chit chaya aveshato buddhau bhanam dhistu dvidha sthita eka ahankriti anya syat antakarana rupini. Then he says, Chaya ahankararyoho aikyam tapta ayaf pinda vanmatam tat ahankara tadatmyat deha chetanamagatat chetanamagat ahankarasya tadatmyam chichaya deha sakshibhi sahajam karmajam bhrantijanyam chatrividam kramat. These are the 3 verses that explain what happens to us, how we become a small person. Because if I am this Satsvarupa and Chitsvarupa and Brahman, and all this kinds of a thing, how come I have really shrunk to this person who is so helpless? How? So it says, here's what happens. I'm just giving you the process. You have to think about it and so on, all so that you can see what happens. So he says what happens is, and so when the dreaming of this life starts, it splits your buddhi into 2 parts. So one is, you look at your reflection and you think this is who I am. And then, because you are now devaluating yourself into a reflection, other things also around you become on the same stage as you. This is what is happening. So he's taking, I need more time to discuss all that, so I'm rushing a little bit. And you can read it up and we can meet again sometimes to discuss it. But basically he says, and Swami Akhandananda points this out very well. So he says there are the following things that come together. One is called Chit Chaya, which you were talking about, Swami Paramarthananda was saying. One is Chit, which is Bimba, which is the main thing, which is you. Sat Swarupa, Ananda Swarupa. You have a Chaya of that Chit, called Chit Chaya, kind of like. And in that Chit Chaya, what do you see? What you see in that chaya is a distorted version of yourself. Because that's very normal, because whenever you see something in the screen, in a mirror, it all depends on what the mirror is. If the mirror is distorted, then your image will be distorted. If it is clean, it will be clean. If it is blue, it will be blue. So now if you take yourself to be your own reflection, you become very vulnerable to a lot of other things. This is exactly what is happening. So the very process of dream is that you take yourself to be something like yourself, but not quite. And that process is, the word I was looking for is augmented by having other people in the dream that solidify your mistake. This is what is happening. So the process of chit chaya, and so what is called a jiva. Jiva means the I thought. Remember we talked about the I thought. This I thought is something worth talking a lot about some other time. So the I thought, which is ahankara. So the word used in this Drigdishya Viveka, this is very important, highly regarded Prakarna Grantha, almost like it's an Upanishad really, uses the word ahankara for the person. So the ahankara now gets a sense of reality by the following things. It gloms on to a deha, to a body. Because you cannot, otherwise you'll be a ghost. You don't know who you are and so on. But so if you look at the dream, you have a very elaborate stuff going on in the dream. A lot of real stuff. You are talking, discussing. So you have a body. So you create a body. And then you create everything else. So this is exactly the same situation in the Jagrata Avastha also. And so that is exactly what, and so if you want to go into more details of that, but the Chit Chaya forms the basis of the specific reflection in the form of a body. And that becomes you in a very distorted form. So in a sense, this is exactly what is happening in our life also. We don't know exactly that I am Sat Swarupa. And so I take a kind of like a avatara as a distorted me with a specific body which is now dictated by karma. So this is what happens in the case of a Mahatma. The Mahatma no longer says that I am the reflection. It says what I am a reflection of very clearly. But the relationship to the body has to continue until the prarabdha karma finishes. I was just talking to Durga. He was just telling me that he talked to one of the Swamis in Vrindavan who was a disciple of Swami Akhandananda. So because Vrindavan is a center for, that's where he used to stay. And so it was very interesting. Durga went to Vrindavan to talk to one of the disciples, and he wanted to find out what happens to a Mahatma when they give up their body. And so this Swami, I don't remember his name, but he was telling him that Swami Akhandananda, in the last few days of his life, he was just slowly, getting out of this body, was just saying Ram, Ram, Ram. And so, but the connection to the body, that is, you cannot just get out of the body. That has to be there. But it doesn't matter to them because that is simply part of the reflection, not themselves. That part is very clear to them. And any pain that might come in, any hunger that might come in, it's okay. It's not a big deal. So anyway, I think I'm done in terms of the time that I have. I wish I had more time. But anyway, this is what it's going to be. I do have one request that I wanted to make to you. So we'll talk more about this organizing here and how we should do it, and I'm very happy that you're all together, and I think we need to grow and so on. From my perspective, in terms of where I am in my life, I can continue to teach as often as I can. But right now, we have two situations. One is this kind of a retreat for a couple of days, 6 classes, where I'm trying to cram a lot of information into a short time. Or we have a 1 week in Sailorsburg we do every year, where we have a little bit more time and also I think a little bit more ambience, because we are sitting right next to Dakshinamurti. Food is not a problem. Your family is, you're separate from the family. The Vairagya is also there, very beautiful. So that is there for 1 week. Now, my health is also such that I don't need to really travel unless I have to. But Swami Viditatmananda has requested me that I should go and teach as often as I can. So he has invited me to go back there again next year. My own sense is that I will only go because I don't have any students from the East Coast. So very few people know me. There's a few, 4 or 5 people that kind of hear me and then they come. But most of us are from here. And if we do not have 20, 25 people, then I will not go. So I think that I just talked to the new manager, and he's requested me to hold a session on May 3rd to the May 10th of next year. Okay? And what I would like to do is probably ask Raj and Chandra to do a survey, perhaps, and I would like to get an idea of how many of you will be able to go, because you have your own lives, and I quite understand that. But I would say this. In a few last cases, I heard some excuses. My husband needs me. And I don't think that, I would love to come, but quite a few of you have told me this. I would love to come, but I'm a little busy and people need me and so on. What I would say is, be like the parrot. Be like the parrot. You know why? You are only responsible for your own freedom. And the time is passing. Anyway, that's my ad for the Sailor's Burg, and I'm not even sure. I told Karthik ji, I said, Karthik ji, I'm having a retreat and I will talk about it, but if I don't get at least a dozen people, I don't want to just talk to 5 or 6 people sitting there. I can do that at home. So please think about it, and we will do a survey and we'll see.
Like the humor text.
Text I can not almost do anything. I was thinking we can even do the 15th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Urdhvamulamadasyakam ashvatvam prahuravya. You know, one thing I've learned from Swami Vivekananda's teaching methods very well, this is new to me. Once you have an overall picture of what is happening, and I'm beginning to have that, then it doesn't matter what text you take. You bring those ideas into it. So the 15th chapter also has the same thing about Isvara and everything and so on. And it's a nice chapter to chant, you know. So I think I don't know, this idea just came to me just now, really, as when you asked. Otherwise, we have lots of them. We can do Upadesha Saram, this, that, or the other.
How about that Viveka?
We could do Drisha Viveka. That would be a good thing to do. Absolutely. Very good thing to do. But you know, Kalpana, what I'm thinking of, in fact, Kuldeep and I were just talking about it. I have to rely more on his advice on that. He was telling me that he can transcribe these talks, even though this is a very small segment of the Drisha Viveka, and then using AI, really make a nice podcast that can be given out. Now, would that be, Kuldeep, will the broadcast be written or no?
No, this podcast listen. This written, I can do transcription also, but a lot of people might be reading. But yeah, you can take the YouTube videos and then just create a podcast out of it. So the length could be 15 minutes to 45 minutes.
But would that be audio or?
Audio, that would be audio.
And you will create that? Or I have to?
It's already there, tools are there, but yeah, I would just take.
Okay. Anyway, so Kalpana, to your suggestion, what I was thinking of doing anyway, which I had already thought about it, is that I'm going to create some podcasts on Drisha Viveka, which will take me a couple of years probably to do the way I do these things. So which I was going to do anyway. So then we might as well, if we do go to Sailorsburg, then we do something like, all right, we can do some other text, we'll see that. Anyway, I'll take a break. You know, I think now what we can go into QA, is that right?
Yeah, so do you want to do the closing first before break?
Do you want to do closing now before Q&A or do the other way around? What do you think?
Q&A first and then what?
Let's do Q&A first.
Continuity.
So if you want to take a 5-minute potty break, why don't we do that? Come back and we'll do Q&A right after that.